I am reviewing Wildborn, the first in the Spirit Animals by Brandon Mull. This is actually the wrong book. I took the wrong one out of the library, but I like holding books while I do these videos, so I'm going to keep holding it even though it's the wrong one. Anyway, this is a series of books that's gotten quite popular recently over the last couple years or so. It's one of those series where each book is written by a different author, which can be quite interesting, but sometimes you lose the flow of the series that way. So I've only read one book, so I can't tell you whether this happens or not, but yeah. So all these books are set in a world where when a child comes of age, so probably like 12, because 12 is the age everything happens to you, when a child comes of age, they go through this ceremony type thing where they discover whether or not they have a spirit animal. And if they do have a spirit animal, it means they're like extra powerful and whatever, blah blah blah. So this concept of spirit animals is quite similar to Philip Pullman's concept of having a daemon in The Golden Compass, with a few notable exceptions. Firstly, there's no mind-to-mind connection. So the animal and their respective human cannot communicate. They can't talk to each other. They don't know what they're thinking. They're very much separate entities. And secondly, their sort of raison d'etre, if you will, their reason for existing, the spirit animals, is more to do with power rather than companionship and as an actual representation of sort of your soul. So it's a little bit more superficial there. Okay, so this book follows 4 characters, and they're all kids who come of age and go to this ceremony, and they get legendary spirit animals. Like, people have been telling stories with sort of prophesizing almost these spirit animals for years and years and years and years. So they all happen at once. They all get these spirit animals. So everyone's like, oh my god, war is gonna happen. All these crazy spirit animals are happening at once. So 3 of these children get sort of inducted into, they call them the green coats. So they're kind of like the police. And they start training them. And the 4th goes off on some other sort of organization and is training with them. And so the story is pretty meh. It's nothing super original or mind-blowing, but the part I find really interesting about this series is the whole spirit animal concept. I have a few questions, like, are the species of the spirit animal in any way relevant or meaningful? Is it personality based? Like, things like that. Just questions that I don't have answers to yet. So right now, the spirit animals are plot devices, basically. But one thing I think could be really interesting for the series is if they sort of characterize them a bit more, and there became interactions between the spirit animals and their humans, and spirit animals and other spirit animals. I think that could be a really interesting dynamic, because right now they're quite flat. And yeah, I think the spirit animals could be really interesting in the future. There's lots of like story potential there for them. The other characters are quite diverse background-wise. The girl who went off with sort of the other people, she's a kind of a mystery, so that's an interesting story element there. And then the 3 who are with the green coats, one girl is from a very wealthy family, one boy is a sheep farmer, one boy was an orphan. He's my favorite, the orphan. He's like quite witty, pretty funny. I really have enjoyed reading his parts quite a lot, actually. So yeah, the characters are interesting, but I think the world needs a little more developing. Just with the whole spirit animal concept, it needs something more. So I'd continue reading the series because I'm interested to see where the other authors take the story. or maybe not the story, but the world and the spirit animals, and what they do with them and how they craft that. I'm not particularly interested in the story aspect of it, but I would give it a 3 out of 5 stars because I think it's an interesting concept and fairly well done, and there's lots of potential there too. So yeah, go ahead and read it. It was pretty good. That's all from me. Bye guys.